Okay, well, a lot of people have been asking me about my opinion on the election. And while I was going to refrain from making a video until I kind of had my shit together a little better than I currently do, election day is coming down quickly. And I mean, I guess I just don't see the sense of urgency in choosing between Peter Thiel and George Soros. I mean, you're ultimately electing the same boot on your neck. It's just a boot in a different brand of shoe. There is no illusion that either of these people are working for you, as has been quite abundantly demonstrated both in the last 4 years with Kamala Harris and in the 4 years before that with Donald Trump, which people seem to have had a case of collective amnesia over that this guy did not work for us the 4 years he was in office, and the idea that he's learned and he's going to not make the same mistakes twice. Well, as another former president might say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, won't get fooled again. But that's beside the point. If you elect Donald Trump, you will get no-knock raids kicking down your doors in search of illegal immigrants who may or may not actually exist. Of course, there's millions of them running around this country, which is a big problem that has to be dealt with. But the idea of completely scrapping the last few remaining shreds of the Fourth Amendment in order to do so is going to just, accelerate the inevitable collapse into this hybrid of communism and fascism that neither side seems to be capable of really grasping the full extent of. I mean, communitarianism is probably the closest existing philosophical term that could really sort of describe the whole thing, but it's a fusion of the worst parts of both camps, which, I mean, you don't have to use much of your imagination to imagine just how bad that can get. And then if you don't have the Trump variation of communitarian fascism, you have the Harris variation of communitarian fascism, which will just be a mass confiscation of assets in the service of benefiting the quote-unquote less fortunate, aka the millions of illegal immigrants who will be put in uniform as a police force in order to beat down any recalcitrant property owners who don't decide to go along with Mamala, who, by the way, turns out she's not even black and is actually kind of Jewish, which, I mean, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, so this idea that voting matters and this is the most important election of our lifetime. Every election is the most important election of your lifetime, and don't you forget it, because they won't let you forget it. While y'all chasing your tails voting, they are going to be bailing in the banks. Apparently, they've already started doing that. There was a bank in Oklahoma that just got bailed in. That's not good. So you might want to get your money out of the banks if you have more than 5 cents, which apparently 100 million Americans don't. And well, more than 5 cents. More than 100 million Americans apparently can't write a check for $500. So that's ominous. And this should make you question the idea that anyone's life has gotten objectively better under either the Biden-Harris or Trump regimes, except for the extremely rich and extremely ethnic nepotism beneficiary segments of society. So, yeah, I don't really see the point of getting all hyped up about the voting thing, because either way, you are going to get screwed. It's going to be painful. It just depends on which hole you're going to get screwed in first. And, personally, I can't really get that emotionally invested in, I would just rather not get screwed. I mean, it's like the idea of the shit sandwich. You have to order one of these variations of shit sandwich, or you're not doing your duty for democracy, or you have no right to complain. It's I just don't want to eat shit, man. I don't care if it's a shit sandwich with Dijon mustard or a shit sandwich with arugula and radish slices. It's still a shit sandwich, and I don't want to eat that shit, so please just take it away. And yeah, I'm just not interested. We should be focused on reinforcing our communities and in building. I know the word resiliency has become a dirty word under the whole World Economic Forum industrial complex, but resiliency is very important, because it's not going to be good when this whole thing collapses. And this whole thing is dangerously close to collapsing. I don't know if anyone was paying attention to the recent BRICS summit, and at which point they basically said, Israel, you need to stop genociding the Palestinians. And the United States, by the way, we see you hiding behind Israel, genociding the Palestinians. United States, of course, has always really liked having Israel around, not just because they're sexually compromised and compromised via all kinds of other avenues that we can really only imagine in the depths of depravity, but also because Israel's hostile genocidal mania makes our hostile genocidal mania around the world look sane. So if Israel wasn't doing what it's doing to the Palestinians, and what it has been doing to the Palestinians for the better part of the last century, the United States, wars all over the world, would not be, I mean, I guess they would still be turned a blind eye to just because the United States has so much power. But as the Ukrainian war has shown, we're pretty much a paper tiger these days. I mean, the military is kind of a joke, and our aircraft carriers are sitting ducks for hypersonic missiles, as the Houthis in Yemen have proven eminently. I mean, those guys are awesome. I have to say, what they're doing is it's great, but not great because people should be dying. But if you don't want to get stung, don't jam your dick in a hornet's nest. Just saying. The fact that we haven't figured out this fundamental lesson of life is really quite sad, and shows that there's a massive flaw in the American education system and the American everything else system, and that our whole system is basically clogged up with shit. We need a good plumber. Unfortunately, neither Trump nor Harris are capable of plumbing. I don't know what to say. I mean, I just cannot get that, emotionally invested. I mean, I don't live in New York anymore, as you can tell. This is not my Brighton Beach apartment. But there's signs everywhere for Trump or Harris. I saw people putting up Harris wall signs the other day, and they look like the biggest losers on the planet. But then you see the Trump people, and it's like, guys, you're getting emotionally invested in a person who really doesn't care a thing for you, and is just taking billions of dollars from Miriam Adelson. And I know we have to watch what people do and not what they say, but Trump already proved when he was president that he was willing to give away the store to Israel, and he's going to do it again. So it might not be Pompeo at the wheel this time, or Bolton. Hopefully he has the self-respect to not invite back in the jackals who tore a gaping hole in his ass last time. But you never know. Sometimes people do really stupid things, especially when their family members are working for the enemy. So, and Kamala Harris, who would I don't even know what that is. She's cycling through so many weird ethnic accents for ethnicity she doesn't belong to. I mean, I don't necessarily shouting out other people on my show here. It's not even a show. I mean, I haven't made a video in a year. But Candace Owens' investigation of Kamala Harris's genealogy is just hilarious because, I mean, she's got the receipts. Kamala Harris is not black. She's Indian, Irish, and Jewish. And that's why she's married to a Jewish guy who slept with a nanny and got divorced, and now he's got this weird daughter who's got a trendy amount of gender confusion, but that's neither here nor there. The whole Kamala Harris saga is just extremely appalling if you think we live in a democracy, which I don't think anyone who's watching this video actually believes that, but you never know. Sometimes people harbor very strange delusions for reasons that cannot really be fundamentally understood. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the election. I mean, you already know, if you've ever watched my channel, how I feel about the genocide going on in Palestine. It's absolutely appalling, and nothing I say is going to change that. I'm glad that there are more people who are willing to say that. I mean, it took y'all long enough, but it's your tax dollars are being used to blow the legs off small children, full stop. So, I mean, that's one of about 9 million reasons to get out of the parasite system and start building your own communities that don't have to tithe to the to Moloch. And that's kind of important, because when the system comes down and it's central bank digital currencies for everyone, and if you've ever said anything naughty about Peter Thiel, he's a vengeful motherfucker. Just look at what happened to Gawker. So, and he is behind the Trump campaign 100%. This Vance thing, this Vance golem that he's got running around, pretending to be Mr. Heartland hillbilly elegy. Oh, my mother was addicted to opioids. Oh, I am a venture capitalist now. I mean, dude, so you're basically working for the people who kept your mother strung out. Oh, that's really classy, really classy. But neither here nor there. Peter Thiel, however, if you've been watching this whole Trump assassination rodeo, if you know what happened with Reagan and Bush and the attempted assassination of Reagan by a guy who was the son of a close family friend of the Bush family, then you know what's going to happen with Trump and Vance. I mean, as soon as he gets in office, one of these like million programmed loonies is going to shoot him, or I don't know, stab him or some shit. And then Vance becomes president, aka Peter Thiel becomes president. And that is a scary ass motherfucker. I'm sorry, Peter Thiel is a goblin. And he should not be anywhere near the reins of power because he's already like psychotic and power mad. And like, if you don't know the Peter Thiel story, please read up on it from sources that are not Wikipedia. I think James Corbett did recently a pretty good report that is ongoing. But yeah, he's a total mega creep, and his technology has been used to pry into your underwear drawers and your underwear drawers, and file everything in there for future blackmailing. So you really shouldn't want this guy to be president, especially if Trump, before he's tragically gunned down in a hail of Palantir bullets, actually follows through on his, oh yes, we're going to deport the anti-Semites. No. I shouldn't be laughing because this is all terribly like appalling and it sucks that our country is doomed, but it's just like, I mean, I just feel like I'm repeating myself, which is one of the reasons I haven't made a video in a year, because I just feel like I'm fucking repeating myself, and I don't like repeating myself. So yeah, we're doomed, and you should get out while you still can. I'm not saying you need to get out of this country, but get out of the cities, get out of the places where that are likely to have a major collapse or riots or the usual clusterfuck of human-made events. So that's kind of important. And if you have people that you care about, convince them to come with you, because it's going to get awful lonely living in the cabin in the woods unless you're Ted Kaczynski and can do fun stuff. Anyway, I guess that's it for me for now. I will be posting articles soon and probably more videos, but I just wanted to get this out there because a lot of people have been asking me about my opinions on the election. And I don't really see the point. I mean, vote in your local elections, yes, because those might actually be counted, and it's possible that depending on where you live, of course, that your local elections are not decided already. So, and especially if it's the sort of thing where you are capable of actually interfacing with these politicians, if they actually live in their community and abide by the don't shit where you eat ethos, which is critical to, and actually, okay, I said I was done, but I'm not done, because this is really important, and this is why they want to make us a nation of renters, is because this idea of turning us all into basically wandering Jews or gypsies or whatever term you choose to use by making us a nation of renters is designed to, among a million other things, because these things are never for one purpose solely, to sort of divest us of that don't shit where you eat ethos, because then you can, always move on to another place. If you befoul the land upon which you are squatting, you can just move over to the next plot of land and start befouling that shit. So, like, if you actually own your property and you actually, like, are investing in your community or whatever, you are not going to shit on it. At least not without, like, a sewer or a septic tank or, the usual shit removal infrastructure, because you don't want to smell your own shit for the rest of your life. So, by, like, dulling this instinct in us, like they've dulled so many of our other better instincts, like our instincts to help our fellow man instead of looking for ways to screw him over, and our instincts to, in general, be curious, intellectually driven to achieve bigger and better things, to get up off the fucking couch and put down the bag of Funyuns and do something with our lives. Those instincts have been dulled, if not removed entirely. And it's not entirely psychological. There is a biological aspect to this, which Michael Nels actually outlined brilliantly in his book, The Indoctrinated Brain, which I would highly recommend to everybody. That's about how the COVID and the bioweapon that was designed to immunize against COVID. And I don't know if this video is not going to last on YouTube. So yes, the vaccine were designed to neuroscientifically attack the part of the hippocampus which is responsible for forming and maintaining autobiographical memory, aka to attack where our sense of self, and replace it basically so that your experiences would normally be filed away, compare, contrast, and compiled into yourself. When it's been attacked in the manner in which it has been under this bioweapons program, you become sort of like a concatenation of the most recent emotional stimuli that happen to you. Like if something has a high emotional content, then your hippocampus is more likely to incorporate it into your memories and whatnot. So like the emotional affronts that the media was shelling out during COVID, like basically, you must sacrifice the me to the we, and oh, if your neighbor isn't vaccinated, he's a monster and you should kill him. I mean, they didn't quite go that far, but they strongly hinted at it. And so this highly emotional content was basically made people into, like, I mean, use the term pod people, and people of my generation have no idea what that is. But if you've ever seen the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, there's a fungus from outer space that shows up and makes copies of people that look exactly like the people, but they don't quite act right. There's a little something missing, and that little something is, of course, the human spark that makes us human, that humanity that they are trying to suck out of us by every way they can, and doing a damn fine job, if I might say so myself. I mean, I would congratulate them if I was not completely opposed to their project in every way, shape, and form. So, yeah, the the hippocampal assault is total, and so that's why if you know people who have been repeatedly vaccinated and you notice they're not quite like themselves, well, you're not imagining things. That's totally happening. And yeah, so I mean, I don't think anyone watching this video is vaccinated themselves, but if you are, there are things you can do, actually. There are ways to detox yourself, but I'm not going to try to get into that in this video. You should go look up Anna Maria Michalcia. She knows about this. Gary Null, of course, knows about this. There's a lot of people out there who are doing good work. The FLCCC protocols are good. But yeah, there is hope. There's hope for that. It's not so much hope for this country, but I mean, at this point, we've just been circling the drain for so long. We're circling the drain at terminal velocity. We're not even circling the drain anymore. We're in the drain. We're under the toilet floor. And we're down the pipes, and it's just like at this point you just got to save yourself and form your own resilient communities outside the parasite system, because he who votes decides nothing. He who counts the votes decides everything. And it's been that way, at least for this century, I would say, for the last century as well. And I mean, it's only gotten worse, sure, but like getting all hyped up in this, oh, they're burning ballot boxes, oh, they're shutting down voting. Yeah, that's bad. And like I said, you should vote in your local elections, especially if it's the sort of thing where the politicians do actually have to answer to their constituents. But this idea that Trump is going to save us, or don't even get me started on RFK Jr. When I don't know how blackmailed he must be, but I can't imagine what blackmail is so bad that you would, well, claim to be like Mr. Anti-War and like fight your whole career for medical freedom and individual rights and stuff, and then like turn around and just champion genocide, standing hand in hand with Shmuley Boteach, who is like, I mean, even other Jews, even other Zionists think this guy is a fucking nutcase, and he definitely is. There's something seriously wrong with him. But, yeah, that guy, usually you wait until you're in office to start making, like, massive moral compromises, but no, Bobby Kennedy is just, like, with the massive moral compromises. So I don't know what they've got on him. I think it would be really brave of him to come forward and say, well, I realize that a lot of my fans have lost faith in me because I've betrayed some fundamental tenets of my morals or my professed morals. And this is because, well, this group that's been blackmailing United States politicians for the last, 100 years, or maybe since the founding of this country, possibly, has blackmailed me. And you can judge me for what you want, but this is going on with all of your politicians. So I feel it's better to get this out there. And I made a mistake by allowing them to push me into saying all this stuff. But I'm coming clean now, and let the chips fall where they may. I think that would be extremely brave. It would make him very popular. I mean, he could, if they, of course, if voting actually counted, rather, it would make him president. But, I mean, maybe it would just get him shot. But I don't think that doing what he does now, I can't imagine how he sleeps at night. I think he is a sincere person about the other things that he's worked on. I have every reason to believe he's a sincere person in terms of wanting to save children from the predation of big pharma, and wanting championing the individual freedom and wanting clean water and clean air for people. So I don't really understand how a person like that can then turn around and say, "Oh yes, the Israeli genocide of Palestinians is awesome. Palestinians are the most pampered people in the world." He actually said that. Like, I don't know. I mean, unless they've got the real Bobby Kennedy tied up in a basement somewhere, which is possible, I suppose. I mean, they could fucking AI anything at this point. But like, I just don't really understand how you can be, especially given like what happened to his father and his uncle. I mean, the fact that they tried to pin the assassination of RFK Sr. on a Palestinian guy, even though the shot came from a totally different direction than Sirhan was located in. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. has like gone into this on radio programs and stuff and talked about how Sirhan was not the killer. And I mean, if both Kennedys wanted to get Israel to not have nuclear weapons, they wanted the predecessor of AIPAC to register as a foreign agent under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, which requires every other country to register its foreign agents. It's just there's a massive question mark there as to why he's doing this, and the only reason I can think is blackmail. I mean, he's admitted he was on Epstein's plane a number of times, claims it was with his family, etc., etc. But obviously that's bullshit. I mean, you're not like going on the family outing with the Lolita Express is not a thing. Maybe once it was, and even that I don't really think is the case, unless they killed his first wife, maybe, and like he knows that, and they're holding that over him. I really can't. I mean, at this point, like, okay, so they got a video of you screwing a little girl. Okay, well, I mean, I don't think that that's worth, like, throwing away your entire, like, moral foundation for, really. Like, what realistically is going to happen to you? You have, like, millions of dollars, and you have a very secure position in your community. You have a lot of people who are willing to go to war for you, and so, like, why would you completely compromise everything? That's just a little question that I have, but I don't mean to get too off track. Anyway, yeah, the election is bullshit. It's diverting your attention from the other things that are going on, which I believe include the very quickly impending collapse of the U.S. financial system. So you might, like, want to consolidate your assets in something meaningful, at least, like, so you're not totally holding the bag when Uncle Sam finally takes his last dump on all of us and runs off with the milk money. There's not gold in Fort Knox. There's some gold-plated tungsten, some tumbleweeds, some hopes and dreams, maybe a handful of OxyContin. I don't know what else is down there, but there ain't no gold. So, I mean, maybe there's a few bars, but, like, we don't even have what we say we have, and we also have like hundreds of trillions of dollars in debt beyond the 30 trillion or whatever, which even that in and of itself is preposterous. I mean, like, if any other country tried to pull that shit, everybody else would just be like, no. And BRICS is being like, no. So I'm definitely with BRICS on that one. No. Just saying no to debt slavery and debt peonage for eternity. I mean, that's not a very difficult, like, thing to get on board. But in addition to the economic collapse, they're also trying to basically run away with the historical records. So you may be aware that archive.org, the Internet Archive, and the Wayback Machine were taken offline recently. It was pinned on, of course, a pro-Palestinian hacktivist group, which is a dead giveaway for, hey, it's that organized crime ring masquerading as a country, masquerading as a religion that you love so much. Big Parasite, aka, you know, those people over there. But it wasn't the Palestinians. They don't have computers. Their computers been blown up by our bombs, paid for with your tax dollars, bought with your meaningless funny money, aka toilet paper, aka get the fuck out of the dollar while you still can. But yeah, they're trying to destroy the historical record. So I don't know how much of the Wayback Machine, how much of the Internet Archive was actually removed when the thing was put back online. But I do know that since I think it was 2021 or 2022 or something, they started like annotating their Wayback Machine snapshots, which like pretending to fact check old websites, which was a dead giveaway that they had been infiltrated and were no longer going to serve as the wonderful resource that they once were. I really, the Internet Archive is one of the best research tools if you are an investigative journalist that's out there. At least it was. I don't know really what it is now. Have not been doing as much work as I should be doing. But that's not for this video. And yeah, they're really like hardcore going after our collective memories and destroying our history. I mean, they're tearing down our architectural heritage. They're tearing down our intellectual heritage. And they're just replacing it with this ersatz, like, lumpy pod people bullshit that is, like, so uninspiring. I mean, I call it aesthetic terrorism. I have a whole video coming out on aesthetic terrorism, which you're going to just love. Or maybe it'll make you puke, or maybe you'll puke and you'll love it. But it is definitely a campaign that is being waged against us as a species. They want to turn us into a slave species, degrade our consciousness, and make us, you know, own nothing and be happy, and not even know what being happy is, because we don't have any sort of other emotions strong in any other direction, which is why, of course, they want to outlaw things like hate, or, I don't know, like, any strong feelings, rage. We can't be rageful, because we might, like, actually realize we might not actually snap at the stick that the person is beating the dog with. You know, the dog snaps at the stick, and the dog should be snapping at the person. So don't snap at the stick, guys. Snap at the person, and make sure when you go for the person, you go for his throat. Don't mess around with that hand. Come on, he's got two of them. But no, seriously, they're going after the very foundations of our consciousness, of our civilization, of our species, of our social interactions. I mean, Facebook has done more to destroy the concept of human friendship than basically any sort of conventional weaponry ever could. I mean, it's a very powerful psychological weapon, and it's basically mostly AI at this point. It's mostly like these AI generated profiles, so people who aren't like paying attention might start to think that, you know, these Facebook bots are how people normally interact with each other, and then that becomes, oh, well, yeah, all human interaction is like this. And then they say, oh, AI has become conscious. We have reached the singularity. And, well, no, we haven't, but human interaction, at least to the average person, will have been degraded by so much at this point that it appears that what AI is capable of is the same thing as human consciousness. So, like, when they try to pull that shit, don't fall for it. Please, like, do me a favor, just don't fall for it. The AI is not going to ever attain the level of consciousness of the thing that's programming it, because it's just, like, not really possible. I mean, you can debate me on that one. I would actually be interested in having a debate on that one, but it's just not going to happen. And the way that they're going to claim it has happened is they're going to degrade human consciousness and human interaction to such a point that it appears that what the computer is capable of is the same. And that's really bad, because the process is already very much underway. So, like, this is one of the reasons why AI just makes my skin crawl. I know that everybody, oh, it's so useful. I love being lied to by a thing that, like, thinks faster than I do. What? Well, why don't you just watch, like, a fucking Ben Shapiro video or something? Like, that's like not a thing. I don't really understand. You like being, this is back to the shit sandwich. Oh, I like the shit sandwich because it's gold plated and it comes with, like, a strolling violinist who plays while I shovel the shit into my face and then shoots cocaine up my butt. What? No, just no, just no. I don't want any shit sandwiches. I don't care what it comes with. I just don't want it. So yeah, don't eat any shit sandwiches, don't take any wooden nickels, and always go for the throat. Don't fuck around with the stick, don't mess around with the hands. Get that throat. That's all for now. If you like this video and you want to support my efforts to, like, make our society less shitty, you can contribute on the following page, or just, like, subscribe and share this with your friends if you don't want them to be your friends anymore. And yeah, happy voting, guys!